What up, roomies? Artificial intelligence has gone from science fiction to everyday life in just a few years. People are using it to write books, build businesses, create art, replace jobs, and make decisions that used to require human judgment. But with all that opportunity comes a new set of legal, ethical, and societal questions. Today's guest, Peter Nieves, has spent decades protecting intellectual properties and now helps business owners understand how to use AI without exposing themselves to legal and strategic risk. He's known as the AI legal authority and has trained thousands on the intersection of AI innovation and law. Tonight is not just about AI, it's about the future we're building. Peter, welcome to the pod, man. Welcome to In the House.
Hey, I appreciate you. Thanks for the invite. I'm glad to be here. Happy to jump into this stuff and see how we can help people out.
Yep. Thank you for being on, man. I'm really interested in like not only the legal aspects of AI, but also how to like protect your property and whatever you do on AI. And also, how to navigate the systems where you put in a prompt and it's not stealing from somebody, especially when you're like the creative sector, like art, music, even coding an app. You don't want your whatever model you're using to like steal or plagiarize from somebody else.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, AI has opened the door for the creative types to do some amazing things in incredible speed, create lead magnets, books, software packages. I mean, all sorts of things that you can do with them. But there's certain major concerns that you have to think about while you're implementing these tools, because phenomenal tools increases speed, increases productivity, increases profit. But if you don't know what you're doing, you've got some major problems. So you have to look at what's going in, what's coming out, and can you own these things in the first place? Those are the three different channels that I tend to tell people to look at the most.
Yeah. So when it comes to like, let's say you creating art on AI like ChatGPT or Midjourney or another model, how do you make sure that art is not plagiarized and you can actually like copyright it and like market it out if you needed to?
Yeah, it's a good question. So the law basically says anything that you create using AI, you don't own under copyright law, meaning the federal district court has said this, the Copyright Office has said this. So there's an old case that happened probably like 3.5 years ago. Christina Castanova created this comic book, and the comic book had images that were created using AI, and it had text that she wrote. And so the situation was that the Copyright Office said, look, for the textual portion of the comic book, you own that. But for the images that were created using AI, you don't own that. Because for copyright law, there's three requirements. Like there needs to be something that is fixed, meaning it can't just be in your imagination. It needs to be either created on a computer or painted or drawn or recorded. It has to be fixed. There needs to be a human being who's actually created it. Yeah. And then the other portion is that it needs to be some kind of new creative work. Like there has to be some element of creativity to it. It can't be copying what's out there already. If all you do is copying, it's not a newly created work. So therefore you can't protect it. And so with AI, the second element is the one where everybody's running into the problem, is that it's being created by a computer. You type in the perfect prompt and out spits this perfect image that you go ahead and you go, man, I love this. I'm going to make this my magazine cover, or I'm going to use it in my online courses, or I'm going to sell product using this on Amazon, eBay, Etsy, whatever it is. You don't own that image. So if somebody else copies that image, there's nothing you can do about it because you don't own the image under copyright law. You own the image under contract law. You don't own the image under copyright law. And this is where the people using AI are running into the problem. They're creating things they don't own. They're creating software packages, books, images. They don't own any of it. And now the industry is catching up. The industry is saying, hey, look, if you're going to put your book, which was created using AI, onto Amazon, we're going to blacklist your book, make sure everybody knows it's created by AI. And even when you file your copyright application, you have to specify, was AI used, yes or no? When you select yes, it puts you in a different category. And there's certain publishers that aren't even publishing books if AI had anything to do with it. So you have to know, where are you selling? And then do you want to be able to own that thing so nobody else can copy it? If that is the case, then you want to use AI to get ideas, get suggestions, give you motivation. And then you want to hire somebody on Fiverr or wherever else you're going to find this person and get an independent contractor to create the actual image, right? Because if all you're doing is creating on AI, you've got no copyrights and you've got the potential of running into copyright infringement if that image was scraped in the creating of the AI model in the first place. So a lot of people are not really too familiar with where the data comes from in the creating of an AI platform, right? There's an AI model in there. It's a neural network. Supervised, unsupervised learning is utilized to actually create this database, right? It uses weights and finds patterns. And so, but in the original creation of it, that data has to come from somewhere. Well, ChatGPT, which is owned by OpenAI, Midjourney, and so many, Claude, many of them, the way they actually got their original data was scraping the internet.
I get that.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I get that. Like, what if they were gonna train an AI model, they would use like the one source that everybody has access to, which would be the internet, and just constantly feeding it like information, like random.
That's precisely what they did. Yeah, that's precisely what they did. And so, because to train an AI model, you need a lot of documents. Most companies don't have enough documents to train a true AI model, right? So you've got to get a lot of docs. Well, the internet has a ton. So in the creating of ChatGPT by OpenAI, they took all the online publicly available docs out there all the way up into 2022. And they used that to create their actual model. Well, obviously, in the creation of that, that includes the copyrighted and trademarked works of third parties. So what you can run into is a situation where the image that's coming out of the model that you're using, the AI platform that you're using, actually is a derivative or a slight modification of an image that was originally scraped off the internet, which is a copyrighted work of a third party. So you got to be thinking about this. Like, I'm running a business. I can't be getting cease and desist letters and getting lawsuits because I'm using content from an AI platform because I didn't know where the data came from in the first place. So we got to be responsible and look it up and figure it out. Where did that data come from? So that's one of the things that I tell people to do all the time.
So in that retrospect, let's say that you are writing a book, right? And you're a horrible speller. You're your proofreading sucks, but you wrote a book and you put it through AI just to like proofread and like to proofread, grammar correct, and to spell check. Can you still copyright that, or would that be like still infringement?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the answer is absolutely. You can actually own the copyright for that. One perfect example of that is Grammarly, right?
Okay.
A lot of people use Grammarly. I actually spoke with the Copyright Office about this 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I was just double checking the date. It was like 2 weeks ago. And when I was speaking to one of the higher ups at the Copyright Office, I asked him that exact question. I said, look, you're not granting copyrights for AI created works, but what about Grammarly? Grammarly is fixing the sentence structure, making the thing look right, taking things that are past tense, making them present tense, fixing the sentence structures. That's what it's doing. It's not creating, right? It's editing. So is that okay? And the woman who I spoke to, I mean, you're getting this hot off the press. The woman who I spoke to specifically said, if you're using Grammarly to edit a document, that is fine. We don't consider AI to be creating in that situation because Grammarly is just editing the grammar. Really, that's all it's doing. So that's fine. So if we're based on what she said and based on, I'm not seeing any case law against Grammarly as of now. Keep in mind, this is all a moving, train that we're essentially dealing with right now. But as of right now, if I use Grammarly for editing of a book, like I have a book that's coming out in the next 30 days. If I use Grammarly to go through it, what was that?
I said nice and congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So if I use Grammarly for that, I'm not concerned. Like if I use that, I'm going to file a copyright application. And if it asks, did you use AI in creating anything? I'm going to say no, because in my case, I didn't. I used it just for double checking sentence structure. That to me is not creating. And the Copyright Office confirmed it. So I'm not too concerned about Grammarly.
Okay, okay. And would they hmm. So when it comes down to like the copywriting, right? What I how about enhancements? If you use it to like enhance a body of work.
Yeah. So there's a difference between creating and enhancing, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I love to teach on is what exactly is enhancement versus creating.
Yeah.
So if I take a painting, let's say I have the Mona Lisa, right? In the background of the Mona Lisa, if you look it up, you'll see like greenery, you'll see water, stuff like that. So if I decide to change the color of the grass, or I just change the color of the water, that's an enhancement. That's a slight modification that doesn't really come to the level of creativity. So therefore, I would argue that the enhancing that I did using AI, number one, it doesn't remove the copyright that I already have in the work that I uploaded
Yeah.
to AI. So just the fact that you have a copyright and you upload, you don't lose your copyright. Okay. And now that modification didn't come to the level of being a creative work. It's an enhancement. It's a slight modification. Arguably, it's not even to the point of being a full derivative. It's just a slight modification. So therefore, the copyright I still own to the original work. So if
Okay.
somebody copied my Mona Lisa, if I own the copyright, which would make me a billionaire, but if I own that, right? If the slight modification there and somebody copied it, I go after them for my original copyright on the original work, not
Okay.
that slight modification. And that's what people were doing wrong. People were saying, well, this work has been modified, so therefore you lose your copyright. You didn't lose jack. Like, you did not lose a single thing. What you did was that slight modification is arguably not subjecting the new work to copyrightability. It's just a slight modification to the original work. Now, it's totally different if I changed her face to now be like Michael Jackson, right? Like
Yeah.
if her face was, that's a new creative work. And that new creative work was done by AI. So therefore, my original copyright would not pertain to the new face
I
because
got
that's a
you.
new work. Therefore, I wouldn't own the copyright on that new work. That's how it breaks down.
Okay, okay, I got it. And when it comes to like models like Firefly or like other video models, right? Can you copyright that because it's a cinematic scene that you're kind of like prompting and originating, or like let's say that you put in the the storyboard right to a scene and you put it into Firefly and it creates the scene for you. Would you be able to copyright the scene or no? Because it
The
literally created it for you.
the answer is no. That's a good
Okay.
question. You can't get the copyright on that. The reason why is because AI actually created the final work, right?
Okay.
So if think of it this way, if I write the most verbose, most detailed prompt in the world, def, literally describing a picture, I'm just going to keep it at the picture level. Don't even talk about video, which is more complicated. Just looking at the picture level. If I describe every single element of that picture, even the hex number for the colors, exactly where everything is, so that the computer essentially is not creating literally anything. All it's really doing is rendering exactly what I said with
Yeah.
no element of creativity. I still currently today, as of 2026 in June, as of right now, I do not own the copyright because the Copyright Office and the Federal District Court have both said that AI is creating the work, even though the prompt is remarkably verbose. Take that a step forward. If I take my own images and I use my images and then I describe like literally steps for scenes in the movie, and then AI renders the video, I do not own that rendered video under copyright law because AI created that. Now, if I uploaded my own picture, like a picture of me, and that was used as part of creating the video, if somebody stole, let's say, the video, I would try to argue that it's a violation of my original copyright on the still image, right?
Okay.
Because the still image was used to create the video. So if a picture of me shows up in this video that they're copying, I would argue, well, that video the image came from my original picture, so therefore it's copyright infringement. That's the way I would argue that, right? As a litigator, because I've been doing this for 28 years. But the fact of the matter is, since AI actually took the different portions of the screen view or the video that I wanted created, and it took an image that I uploaded or a bunch of images that I uploaded, and it created a video, I don't own that under copyright law. I own the original images that I uploaded. I even own the script. I even own the prompts. Like if I wrote a really good prompt, I own the prompts under copyright law. I just don't own what the machine created, which is the video.
Okay, I got you. So when it comes down to like, and let's step back into like just general AI use, right? What is the efficacy on AI use like in the workplace and in business? And like how do we choose the model that's right for what we're trying to get done?
Sure. So let's talk about the selection of the model first.
Yeah.
If I were going to use AI for business purposes, meaning the image that's created will be on a magazine or a website or some outward facing business purpose platform or creation, then I would make sure that the platform that I'm using is trained using open source or licensed or content that is owned by the company that's providing the AI platform. So as an example, Bria, Shutterfly. Let's see. There's like 4 of them that I typically tell people to use. What's the other one that literally today I had a meeting with a major corporation and was talking about another one. Firefly is one that you mentioned earlier. That's another good one. And there's one other one that I typically tell people to use, and she mentioned it. The general counsel of this major corporation mentioned it to me, and she was right. That one I found was safe too, and it escapes me for now. But anyways, those are 3 that you can use, where the images that come out, the chances of you getting sued for those images are remarkably slim because the entire model was trained only on images that are owned by the company itself or licensed or open source. So that's how you select what model am I going to use. If I'm going to create something that's going to be outward facing for business purposes, I'm going to make sure that I'm using a model that only has licensed open source or safe to use content. Okay, that's part 1. Now going to if I'm just using it for fun, like I'm sending pictures to my mom or to my brother or my sister, then I'm not telling anyone here to do this, but I can tell you as a fact that nobody's going to sue you for creating a picture to send to your family, right? I mean,
True.
do you have any idea how much money it costs just to call me and like ask for my opinion on whether you should bring a lawsuit? So you think somebody's going to call me up and say, hey, my brother-in-law sent a picture to his mom, and so I want to stop that. Like, okay, you just got charged $1,000 an hour to figure out how to mess up your family, right? That's not good business, right?
Not
so
good business at all.
that's not good for the house. So not good for your marriage. But anyways, the whole point being that, if you're just using it for playing around and sending stuff to friends, I'm not too concerned about it. But if you're using it for business purposes to make money, for outward facing reflection of your business and your services and your products, you've got to be careful. And that's why you want to select the right platform. And we talked about how do you select the right platform. All right. So now what about the efficacy of this, like the ethics behind the use of AI?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of things that we should be doing. If as business owners, we should have in place what's called an AI business policy. If I'm a business owner and I don't have an AI business policy, my employees don't know what they're supposed to be doing with AI. The third parties that I hired to do projects, they don't know what they're supposed to be doing with AI. And it's my fault because I'm the business owner. Like they count on me to explain it to them. So there's a legal document that's called an AI business policy. I would strongly suggest everybody get one in their business. That's the first thing. Because that document describes what is AI, what are the concerns, what are the things you can do, what are the things you can't do, which platforms are safe, which ones are not safe, why are they not safe, who's the person in charge in the company to review this thing. Like all of that's described in AI business policy, okay?
Yeah.
And more. Like the one I have is like 11 pages long. It's not short. Now, when I use a certain platform, if I have my clients' content, like let's say their marketing plan, their financial information, their health information, whatever that is, I got to make sure I'm using a platform that's going to maintain the confidentiality of that's necessary to support the information that I'm working with, right? So
Yeah.
if I'm working with like ABC company or Mary down the street, and I'm giving her suggestions as a marketing professional, and I'm uploading all of her stuff, her financial records, where she's spending money, her credit card statements, and all this other stuff into ChatGPT, I just open myself up to a lawsuit if I use the public version or even the plus version, because even the plus version has got some problems right now. I should be using more like enterprise level kind of AI systems where everything's absolutely closed, doesn't go to third parties. And there's even AI platforms now that work only on your PC. It doesn't send the content out to the cloud in any way, shape, or form. Those are the most safe if you're going to be using confidential information. So those are the things I would be thinking about if you're looking at the ethics of AI. Don't put other people's stuff into your system if you don't understand what your system's doing. Make sure you block the training of the model with your content, like turn that feature off. It's very easy to do. And make sure you're selecting AI platforms that are going to coincide with the level of data security necessary to do what you're doing, for your client. Otherwise, seriously, like companies are getting sued right now because they're doing this stuff wrong. And you're not hearing about it because the press doesn't want anybody to know about it. But as of right now, there's been over 100 lawsuits in the AI field.
Damn.
And it's growing. There was another one yesterday. There was another one Friday. There was another one Thursday. There was another one Tuesday last week. Like they're being filed like just multiple a week at this point.
Yeah. So when you talk to like corporations about AI and they ask you for your advice, what's the percentage of companies that are like blown by like your advice and like the ethics behind AI and like the legalities of it, and they're like, yo, we did not know any of this?
Yeah, if I had to be completely not honest, like 90% of the companies I talk to are oblivious. Like just 90%. Like I'm not saying 19, I'm not saying 9, I'm saying 90%.
Damn.
The companies that I'm talking to are oblivious of many of the issues that I talk about. Look, I was dealing with a company that is worth billions upon just ridiculous amounts of money. I can't say the name, obviously, because I don't want people to know this stuff. But the vice president of the company calls me up and she says, "Hey, look, I've got people in our marketing team that are using AI, and the way they're using it is they're uploading the products that we're not selling yet, and they're getting ideas for marketing and all these other things." And I walked her through. I said, "Hey, let's make sure that you're not training the model, that this content's not going to third parties." They didn't even know what that meant. Like they didn't even know at that level. They weren't even aware of that. And the result is that all the stuff that they've been uploading was going to the public. Like products that haven't hit the market yet. They're not even supposed to hit the market for like another 6 months, like 3 to 6 months. And their stuff is public already because they didn't know. Another major corporation had two software engineers uploaded the source code for editing of the source code.
Oh no.
And that stuff went public. I mean, literally the trade secrets of major corporations are going public because the engineers are not aware that there's an issue. They think it's like Microsoft Word or Excel or something on your PC, and they're not aware that, oops, it just went out. And when the major corporation found out, they reached out to OpenAI, and this was in the news, and they said, "Hey, we need that stuff back." And OpenAI said, "I don't know what to tell you. Like, we can't give it back.
Like it's already out here.
It's already in the system. We're not gonna get rid of our database because you made a mistake. Like it's in there and we can't do anything about it. That's just the way the system works. It's not a normal database. It's using a neural network, and it's using supervised and unsupervised learning for training and
Yeah,
determining weights and all sorts of stuff. It's not like, oh, save file it at C colon users backslash, data. That's not what saving things in the AI world means.
yeah, I got that.
So yeah,
So
I'd say
how?
at like 90%.
Okay, and like when a company approaches you on, like, let's say building, like getting all the information together for like building a sector of their company that's gonna perform on AI, because I know a couple of, well, have some family members who are in the coding field, and their companies are making them use like Claude and Codex and all that stuff. Like, what are the pilot when a company wants to shift over to that? How do you kind of like prepare them for that?
It's a good question. I do what's called AI consulting. So I'll do
Yeah,
AI and IP audits for a company where I'll sit down with them. I'll do an assessment of what the company is doing, what they're looking at. I'll let them know these are the assets you currently own. These are the things that could be owned. These are the ways you could own them. Now, as you're implementing AI, you can use it this way, use this platform, don't use that platform, change the settings for this way. Like I lay out kind of a game plan, like a strategic plan for the company to
yeah,
implement, and it's very easy to follow. Like once you understand this stuff, this is easy. Like it's the problem is nobody knows. And
yeah.
since nobody knows, everybody's making massive mistakes. But once you learn this stuff and you find out, oh, this platform over here is safe to use and it can accomplish all the stuff I need, you're fine. Now, if here's the tricky part though. If I'm using AI to write code, I don't own the copyright for the code that comes out. This is a problem.
Mm,
Now, the
okay,
functionality that's performed by the software, I could own the functionality under patent law. That's a different body of law, right?
okay.
So, patent law protects the functionality associated with the software. It protects systems, methods, devices. I mean, if you can asexually reproduce a plant, you can get a patent on a. It's called a plant patent, right?
Yeah,
But so the functionality for the software can actually be protected under a method patent, right? So you can own that. But the
okay.
second you decide to describe the functionality in AI and have it actually create using Lovable or using whatever platform, you don't own that code. Look, 2 weeks ago, I got a phone call from a really famous infopreneur who said to me, hey, I just created a software platform. I want to be able to own this thing. I own the copyright, right? And I said, are you kidding me? Like, I've been teaching on this for 4 years. Like, how do you not know that? Like, I've been your lawyer for a long time. How do you not know this? I've been telling you this.
Yeah.
And the situation was that they had created a software package that they don't own now. Like,
Mm,
literally, they don't own it. But I told them, here's the way we're going to fix this. We're going to file a patent for the functionality. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take that version of the software package that you created. You're going to give that to a software programmer. We're going to give them the flow chart from the patent. And you're going to tell them which features you like in the software and which ones you don't. And then tell them some other features that you want and give it to the programmer and tell them to write the code for a software package that performs what you truly want. And just consider the one that you created on Lovable or on what other platform that you actually use, Claude or whatever it is. Consider that as a test, just to
okay.
see what it could look like, right? But you need the actual code to be written from a programmer, because that then becomes copyrightable. And if you add the patent for the functionality, then nobody can mess with your stuff. Now you've got something where you can make a ton of money on a AI platform or an AI created platform or app. And you don't have, if somebody copies it, you can tell them, hey, you can't copy that. I own the copyright.
That's facts. So all right. When it comes to code, does it does running your code through AI to correct it, or does to double check it, does that automatically knock you out of like copyright territory, or you're still valid to like proceed on copywriting your material?
Yeah, so it definitely does not remove the copyright, right?
Okay.
So if I take my written code and I upload it into an AI platform, that in and of itself does not remove my copyright. Now, if it makes some slight modifications, the question becomes, did the AI model create? Like, did it
Mm,
truly create? Did it make a modification to fix something like Grammarly would modify something and fix? Or
yeah.
did it make a modification to the level of being considered to be creating? If it's considered to be creating, I don't own that feature or that element that was modified by AI. So let's make it really simple for everybody who's watching. If you write a book and the book's got 15 chapters and you tell AI, here's my 15th chapter, write a 16th chapter, create a character and render a 16th chapter. And then you file copyright for the book that was created. This is simple. You own chapters 1 through 15. You don't own 16. The copyright will pertain to chapters 1 through 15, and it'll specifically say in your copyright application, does your chapter 16 is not owned under copyright law. That's simple. In the
Okay.
software world, it's a little more complicated because modifications in software, a slight modification can be a completely new feature. Like it depends on whether it's truly considered to be creating or not. So it's going to require an assessment on what exactly did the model do. And if all it did was like some slight modifications comparable to what Grammarly would do, then I would argue you still own the copyright.
Okay.
But I mean, the fact of the matter is you always still own the original copyright. The question is the new modification considered to be a new creation? If it's considered to be a new creation, you don't own the copyright on that.
I got you. I got you. All right. Cool. 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 So like, since AI is always evolving, right? And the average person never really keeps up. Like, what's happening in AI right now that the average person absolutely has no idea about?
Yeah. Yeah. What's something? All right. Let me give you two things. So I've been using OpenClaw, right?
Yeah.
I strongly suggest most people do not touch OpenClaw because it is so powerful. It can do, if you connect it to your local PC, it will grab everything. And if somebody hacks into that thing, it'll make everything in your system available to that party. It's dangerous. Like it is very dangerous. But if you know how to use it and you keep it in its own virtual private network and you're using it that way, or you put it in its own like, Mac PC or whatever it is, your own Apple PC or whatever, then you can take advantage of this technology. I've been using this thing to work almost as if it's an associate, like almost as if it's a business partner, to the
Okay.
point where I've trained it so well on the areas that I practice law. Like I actually trained it on the different areas of the law, the cases, like this, go to uspto.gov, look up 35 USC section 102, look up experimental use, look up and I'm training it so that when I get an assignment, it could take me literally 30 seconds to do what usually take me 8 hours. Like it's that good. Like it's that good. But what people don't know, this goes towards your question. What people don't know is that agentic AI is connecting to what? Generative AI to actually perform the actions that you're asking agentic AI to perform, right?
Yeah.
So if you go into agentic AI and you got all your setups for your privacy and everything, you think you're fine. But in the setting up of the agentic AI, you're specifying which apps to use, and those apps don't have a high enough security, then you may be using publicly available sites, making all your content publicly available, not knowing it because agentic AI is using generative AI. Like this
Okay. I
is
got
something
you.
nobody knows this. Nobody's talking about this. So what I'm saying for all of you watching is if your agentic AI system is actually very powerful, like OpenClaw and a number of other ones that are actually using different AI platforms to perform the functionality associated with your request,
Yeah.
then you need to make sure that the connected AI platforms are set up properly. and you're selecting the right versions of each of those. Because if you don't, you may be taking the most confidential of content and giving it to the world without even knowing, violating non-disclosure agreements, open yourself up to HIPAA violations,
Yeah.
lawsuits, all sorts of stuff, because you just didn't set it up right. So all of this basically to say, understand that sometimes agentic AI is actually using generative AI, and so you have to make sure that the connections are right and using the right versions and your settings are appropriate.
I got you on that. And another question that I've been wanting to ask, and this is right up your alley. Like when you use OpenCloud, right? Is it better to have it on a local platform or in the cloud?
Yeah, well, you can do both. Like, so
Yeah.
you can have a separate set up PC that's not connected to anything, meaning it's not on your local area network, it's not at work, it's not like it's separate entity. Please, I don't beg, but I'm asking, please put it on its own, system. You
Yeah.
can do that, or you can set it up on a virtual private network like I did. I have a separate site that is in the cloud, that is isolated, that's protected, that nothing can get in and nothing can go in without my permission. And I have a lot of layers of security associated with this thing. And then that is, I mean, that thing's a beast.
I
It
know.
does remarkable work. I mean, like I'll tell you, I had a client who reached out and they wanted a legal agreement that had never been created, like something completely different. And I had trained my model so well that it actually rendered for me that, like, the agreement without the party names, because I don't
Yeah.
put anything private into the system.
Mhm.
It rendered an agreement that was 80% the way already done, like 80% within seconds, like just boom.
Boom.
I mean, do you have any idea what kind of efficiency that is and how much value that is and how much more you can do in productivity? And if you're flat feeing things, the amount of time that you spent in the training of the model is accommodated for in your flat fee, right?
Yeah.
Because like my model, I could probably sell for $500,000 at this point. Like it's so smart at this point. That thing, somebody could come in and use that thing to write NDAs, like court briefs, like patent applications, like whatever you want. That thing is really smart.
Right.
So what I would say is just be aware that these tools, especially when you're looking at agentic AI, they're very smart. So you have to be careful what you connect to it. I was at Alibaba. Alibaba had an event last year, and there were 4 people on the stage. And I remember like it was yesterday. The fourth person said, "Hey, you know something that nobody's been using AI before? If you're doing a marketing campaign for a client, I upload their bills, I upload all their expenditures, I upload like their credit card statements, I upload all this stuff so that I can create a strategic plan that makes sense on the marketing side and fits within their budget." And the people that know me are all looking at me going, "Are you serious? Like
Yeah.
you took all that confidential information, you didn't actually make it so that it wasn't training a model, and in fact, even if it wasn't training a model, that content still could potentially go out public. The liability is so high, and you just told literally hundreds of thousands of people to do that." And that's what the
No.
world's like right now. Like people are being told to go to a website that you like, take the URL, upload it to this AI site, and it'll literally scrape the images and the content, take that, upload that into another platform, and now you've got their website. That's called copyright infringement.
Oh, D.
That's an open shut lawsuit. Done. Like takes me no time to win those kind of cases. Those are easy.
Nah.
And these infopreneurs who are they have millions of followers, this is what they're telling people to do.
Yeah. They're giving them the wrong information, and you know, in the long run, is going to hurt a lot of people because
Yeah.
the way the economy is, everybody's trying to look for a side hustle that's easy and could make them a couple of dollars on the side. So yeah, people are gonna.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So people are definitely gonna get hurt with that. And talking about making money in side hustles, right? What's the what would be like your advice if like you were to train like an open cloud model to like trade and do like 4x for you and like do stocks for you? Is that like frowned upon? Is it illegal? Is it legal? Like, can you train an AI model to like trade for you? Like, it'll be your money, your accounts, and whatever, and you just give it access to like the websites that you would trade on or whatever. With
Yeah,
that, like,
there's a lot of people doing that right now. Like that's something I don't really do because I mean my gig, so to speak, is I run a law firm, obviously, an intellectual property law firm, but then I have an educational institution, and
yeah,
so I'm doing the live events, the virtual events, selling courses, things like that. So I never really got into the automation of brokering trades,
yeah.
but I know a lot of people that are doing it, and they're doing just fine.
Okay,
And so yeah,
so
it works. It definitely works. It's not a joke. It works. You just got to be careful though, because depending on what model you're using to automate the trades, you got to make sure your information is not going public. It's not making mistakes. Um, but yeah, there's I've seen a lot of people doing it.
no,
So
all right, cool. So it's not like illegal or anything. Like you could go ahead and do it, and you'll be fine.
well, I mean, I can tell you there's different regulations in the
Yeah,
stock market, right? So I couldn't tell you off the top of my head right now. I could look it up and I can like email you, but I can't tell you off the top of my head if it specifically violates a specific rule, when it
no,
comes
okay,
to um like as an example, my father was a vice president of Citigroup, right? And so he would know if the automation of trading with these kind of systems is legal, because there's if you're in the healthcare industry, there's HIPAA. If you're in the
yeah,
legal industry, there's the ethical standards. But then if you're in the trading industry, there are laws associated with trading. And so I don't know off the top of my head if there's a specific law that's violated by automating trades. I'm not aware of there being one. I wouldn't be surprised if there's something
yeah.
out there, but I'd have to look it up to double check.
All right, cool, cool. So and we're gonna move away from like the legal stuff and all that, and kind of get your opinion on a couple of things. So, what do you think is like the biggest lie people believe about AI right now?
Uh, Probably the biggest lie that I believe people are believing in AI right now is that you can do things quick, create whatever you want, make money on it, and there's no repercussions. I think that is not true. Uh,
Yeah,
there are companies that'll make a quick buck. Yep. The ones that'll survive are the ones that'll do it properly. The ones that don't get sued are the ones that'll do it properly. But it's not just a get rich quick thing. Like it's a very valuable tool that it can increase your productivity, can do a lot of things on an automated level. So absolutely, financially it could work, but you need to set it up properly to financially gain and have longevity in the game. Otherwise, you can walk into some bad legal problems, ethical problems, privacy problems, government regulation problems. There are things you need to know. So
yeah,
I'd say the lie that if you use AI, you're going to get rich quick. I think it's just not true. You need to know what you're doing. Now there are people out there that are training people on using AI, and they're doing a good job on it. Like I've seen some of
yeah,
them. Some of them are like really good things that you can create. I mean, as a fact, you a lot of us used to be putting out content, and we'd have to do video editing and then do a lot of work with that and create copy. All that stuff is automated now.
oh yeah,
Like, I mean, seriously, I could put out 100 videos a week if I
yeah,
wanted to, and not trash, like good ones.
yeah,
Like, so I mean, as of right now, I'm looking for the best AI platform to use to add video to, as an example, if you take a snippet of me talking about a topic for 20 seconds, I want it to automatically add video into the training, into the topic, and then turn that into a clip and then run that as a lead magnet to guide people into either a course or into the book that's coming out or whatever that is, right?
Yeah.
But all that stuff is automated. Like, do you have any idea how much money we used to spend creating all these videos?
Like, bro, I know because I used to spend. I'm my only editor, so I know how much time that takes,
Yes.
especially when you do like long form content, and then you're trying to like clip it down. You're
Oh,
there just
yes.
okay, cool. This is the perfect moment. And now you have things like Opus Clip and Firefly that you'll just pop your whole video in there and you'll just tell it,
Yeah.
hey, listen, these are the moments I'm looking for, and it'll generate 50, 60 clips for you. And you're there like, awesome.
It's amazing. And now you can take those clips, and now what I'm looking for is a tool that will be able to take those tips, those clips, and then let's say I'm speaking about doing a trademark search, all of a sudden,
Yeah.
like the video shifts, it shows the United States Patent and Trademark Office website, and clicking the word trademark and clicking the word search, and it's showing you this as I'm speaking. It's just automating it all, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm using the video editors for. If I could have all that stuff automated and pay something like 59, $100 or whatever a month, that just makes things exponentially easier.
Yeah. And it also takes out, like any worry that it's not going to get done on time because it's only going to take a couple of minutes, and then it'll rank it for you too. It'll be like, hey, this is your number one hit, so put this one out first, and it'll tell you like how to market the whole clip the whole
Oh
clip
yeah, and
itself.
and
Yeah.
you can literally give it all your social media platform information, and it'll automatically publish according to a schedule that you create.
Yeah.
Like
That,
like I mean, that was two people before.
yeah.
Now it's a
Or,
$59 a month thing. And it's done.
yeah.
And so, I mean, in my profession, I can't really just automate it because I have legal obligations to make sure I'm not misleading the public, right? So
No,
I
of
have to
course.
review everything.
Yeah.
But even so, I mean, I'm not spending $1,000 a video for editing, or even 500. I'm spending $59 for
A month
30
worth of it.
videos.
For a month worth of it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Which is
Yeah, it's a
amazing.
different world. I mean, those things are extremely helpful. Look, you can create countless ebooks that you can have ads telling people, hey, for $4.95, you can have this ebook that'll show you the top 20 things that you need to know as a business if you're implementing AI,
Yeah.
and the solutions. And for $4.95, you don't have any idea how many thousands of copies of that you could sell a month. You know,
Mad copies.
yeah, and then just sit back and let it, and it becomes a passive income stream. So, yes, AI is phenomenal if you use it the right way. If you put in the protections to make sure your stuff's not going public without your permission, if you're making sure that what comes out it doesn't commit copyright infringement. Like there are AI sites right now. There are AI sites that you can use that will look at the results of what you're getting from AI and let you know what the chances are that that's actually copyright infringement.
All right.
You
I
know,
got you. I got you. All right. Cool, cool, cool. So do you think AI is going to create more jobs than it destroys?
I do. Yeah, I do. I know there's going to be a big shift, right?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like when you went from typewriters to computers, right? All the typists, we're all the typists. Do you know anybody who does typing anymore? Like,
No.
does you know anybody who has a typewriter anymore? Like, clearly
No.
those people disappeared, but what they did was they ended up learning how to use a computer, right?
Yeah.
And so now, but with AI, a lot of the jobs that you're seeing that are let's say like the video editing stuff I was talking about, right? Well, those people that are doing a lot of video editing are going to have to migrate into something else. They'll have to, but with the creation of a lot of AI projects, there are people who are going to have to know how to work on those systems. People who are going to have to know how to service the robots. People who are going to have to learn how to service the machines, the hubs, who are going to have to figure out the cooling situations, and so all these things are new potential jobs.
Yeah.
And so you've got a shift where some of the tasks that were, as an example, if I go to AI and I have it create a logo, right? I say, hey, look, I go to the site, I say, give me a logo, boom, logo's done. When I could have hired somebody on Fiverr, paid them $1,500 to create an original logo, right? Now, but here's the issue, is that I may think, oh, that's great. And I start using the trademark. There's a site that I've used, logoai.com, right? And when you go to logoai.com, it charges you something like $59 to create a logo for you. I did a trademark search for the image that came out and found out that many of the suggested logos actually are committing trademark infringement.
I can believe that.
And so why? Because I think the chances are pretty high that many of the images that it has, it got off the internet.
Yeah.
And so, so you're using these sites thinking it's safe. You create a trademark, you start using it, and then your company gets sued. So you paid $59 for a lawsuit. Like, I mean, it's not like you even got it for free. You paid to get sued. So you've got to know what you're doing when you're using these sites. So what I would say is, yeah, the simple jobs will become automated, absolutely, but new jobs will be created to actually provide service for the AI systems, provide prompts, provide software engineering for them, and then the aftermath of the creation of higher volumes of work or higher volumes of productivity is going to lead to somebody having to service that as well. So as an example, if I am providing the world with, instead of like 100 ebooks a month, I'm providing 100,000 ebooks a month. Those are all now highly educated companies, which means they're going to be doing more business.
Yeah.
So somebody's going to have to do the work, right? So maybe the work shifts away from the video editing, but now there's more work in whatever those businesses are doing. So there's a shift, so I don't think it's going to just drain jobs and people are going to be jobless. I think they're going to have to shift to a field that's more necessary for them based on technological advancement.
Yeah, and especially that, electricians, plumbing, and cooling, and a whole bunch of other trades are going to be super valuable when it comes to AI and data centers. So it's going to create
100%.
So it's going to create a workforce of not only blue collar workers but highly paid blue collar workers, and
I agree.
And that might be an option for people who want to go straight into the workforce versus going to college and all that.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest with people here, like, look, spending $300,000 for a 4-year education is not the answer for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, geez, like you could get a job as a plumber and make a ridiculous amount of money. You could. I mean, there's not a lot of iron workers. There's not a lot of different trades at this point. So it's. I mean, electricians. You don't see a lot of people just saying, "Hey, I want to sign up and be an electrician." And now you've got all this stuff getting automated. Well, I think electricians are going to become more important.
Yeah.
So there's different fields that are going to need to have people working there. You don't need to spend $300,000 for an education to do that.
You don't. You could simply go to a trade school for 6 months, 7 months, pick up an apprenticeship, and then what a lot of people don't really understand is that when it comes to like trades like electrician or plumbing, after 5 to 7 years, you get your master plumber's, master electrician's license. You start your own company. Now you're training other electricians, and you're making bank without having to really be out there anymore.
That's 100%. That's exactly right. And so, I mean, even if somebody's going into something like computer graphic design, I mean, yes, you could go to college, but my gosh, you could take a bunch of courses and learn the things you need to actually do that for a living. You don't have to spend $300,000 to get a job, to get a job in computer graphics design. You can go into marketing, do like websites, funnels, creating ads, copy, all this kind of stuff. You can actually be the one coordinating a lot of the AI and flat fee a lot of the stuff. You don't need a college degree for that.
True on that.
So yeah, I think certain professions are gonna like phase out the need for college, and other ones will grow. There'll be ones that'll be needed where you'll need. Look, if you're gonna go into being a doctor, you're gonna be a lawyer, you're gonna have to get the degrees.
Yeah.
That's just a fact.
Yeah, that's something that we can't argue on that one. Like, I want my doctor to know what he's doing, even if he
Yes,
has the assistance of AI. I
that's
still
right.
want him to, I still want him to know the difference between my liver and my kidney. You know?
No kidding. I mean, with AI has hallucinations, and then on top of that, um, it's garbage in, garbage out. So if bad
Yep,
stuff went in, then the information and the guidance that you're getting is not going to be great. So on the medical side, obviously they're feeding it good information, but you still get hallucinations
that's
where
true.
it seems like something's accurate and that it's right, but it really isn't. And you're following it, believing it's right. Look, there are lawyers who are being sanctioned and losing their right to practice law. There was one that was sanctioned in California for $10,000. They submitted the results of an AI searching for case law, and they submitted to the court. And I think it was something like 16 to 20 or something like that,
Yeah.
court cases that the AI model provided that said that were aligned with the arguments they were providing, but they were wrong. They weren't real cases. And so this lawyer actually is providing this to the court. The judge comes out and says, "What the heck is this? Like, you're submitting lies to the court. That's fraudulent." Like, nails them for $10,000. Another lawyer got lost his license to practice law.
That's
Like
why
this.
that's why AI tells you gotta double check it sometimes. You gotta make sure you reread everything that AI gives. You gotta reread it, make sure it's in a line perfectly. Because if not,
Yeah, you've got to double check these things. And the beauty is, I mean, as of right now, you can find some very safe image generating generative AI platforms. Like,
yeah,
absolutely. There's a number of them that are very good.
no,
On the text based generative AI platforms, it's completely different though,
yeah,
because it's unfortunately these models are not being trained exclusively on accurate data. Even the Harvey AI one, which was a legal database that was created, even that was having hallucinations and not being accurate all the time. I think it had an accuracy of like 70 something percent. That's not great,
yeah.
so
Not for artificial intelligence. That's not great.
no. I mean, it could get better, definitely
Yeah,
could
yeah,
get better, but still I would still be double checking everything,
yeah,
especially when you're doing like medical field, legal field, at least in those areas.
yeah. True. All right. So my last question, right? Do you think that when we get to AGI, that the work, let's say that we use AGI to create art, to create music, to create film, that then it would be more original than it just like kind of meshing everything it's been trained on? Would it be able to like create original works in your opinion?
I don't think that the Copyright Office and the Federal District Court are going to believe that artificial general intelligence creations are going to be considered to be, copyrightable, right?
Okay.
I mean, I don't see that yet. Uh, some people believe that they're so smart they'll exceed like human capabilities
Yeah.
in their cognitive analysis and everything like that. But it's still a machine creating,
Yeah.
right? So if the machine is doing the creating, that's the barrier, that's the hurdle that we've been running into. Somebody writes the best prompt in the world and they don't own it on the copyright law. Because why? Because the machine did it. Now, just so everybody's clear, it's not unknown to own a copyright for a machine created image.
Yeah.
Like, I could take my cell phone right here. I grab my cell phone and I just put it up to air. And as I'm holding it up, I just click to take a picture, right? I'm not even looking at what I'm looking at. I'm just holding it up here. I'm just go like that. I'm just going to go click, click. All right, I got a picture there now, right? Here's the picture. That's the picture that I just took. I own the copyright for that. Now, is this a machine?
Yeah.
Yes. Cell phone is a machine. So why do I own the picture that came out of a machine, but I can't own the prompt result from the
Because
machine?
that was used as a tool, not a creator. Where AI, you're using it to actually create the image. That's just
No, that's
capturing the answer.
still even so. It's still a
Really?
tool. AI is a tool. This is a tool. The reasoning is this is the reasoning that the courts used. They said that with a camera, you're selecting the subject matter, you're selecting the lighting, you're selecting the shade, you're selecting like the angle. You're doing all this work to then select the right moment to then click that button to take the picture. I just showed you an example of where I didn't do any of that. I just held up the camera and selected a button. I didn't look at the lighting, the shade, the angle, nothing, but I own the copyright for that. So I believe there is room for this law to change. I
Yeah.
believe like within the next 3 to 5 months, I think you're going to see a shift in the copyright office where they become more open to the fact that there may be prompts that are so verbose, so detailed that actually there is no creating by AI. It's actually just rendering exactly what you wrote. And in those situations, I believe they're going to grant a copyright. And when they do that, the prompt engineers who know how to write a prompt at that level of detail are going to be worth a lot of money because those people can create things that are owned. While as of right now, those prompt engineers are creating things that they don't own. Nobody owns. They just own the prompts. That's it.
Damn.
I'm telling you, man, this stuff is
Yeah.
deep. This stuff
Yeah.
is deep, bro.
It is,
Like,
bro.
yeah, there's a major market nobody's talking about right now. Major market in 3D virtualism. You know,
Yeah.
like virtual worlds and
Yeah.
everything. People are buying like planets and like properties and spending all this money buying up stuff in a virtual world, right? And the stuff is really cool. But here's the thing: what if you can actually own the world that's created, and AI is creating the world? Like, what if you created the perfect prompt to create different things in the world so that everything that's created, like the country that's created, you own, the shoes that are created, you own, like everything becomes intellectual property that you actually could own under copyright law. The party who masters the writing of prompts at that level where everything that's rendered becomes ownable, the companies that hire those people are going to be, they're going to be billionaires because you're going to create virtual everything, which is where things are going. Like a lot of stuff is going virtual.
That's true.
So you're going to have big markets where people can own galaxies and planets and like, you know, shoe items and cars and everything. All that stuff is going to be owned because somebody knew how to write the right prompts that actually resulted in something that could be owned under copyright law. As of right now, those prompts, you don't own what's created. If AI creates it, do you know how much faster AI can create virtual things than a human being?
Yeah.
Exponentially faster. So it's an untapped world right now. It's going to be big. I mean, I think 2-3 years from now, you're going to be looking at this and going, what the heck happened? And
It'll be like
it's
Ready
really
Player.
big.
If you've seen the movie, it's like Ready Player One or Gamer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Gamer. Yeah.
Well,
And I mean, personally, I am a gamer. Like, even though
me
I'm
too.
like intellectual property lawyer, like every night I'm playing Overwatch. I play Ryan, I play Mora and elite levels. And so I love gaming, but it's the way I relax.
I'm just getting back on GTA because of GTA 6.
Yeah.
You
I
already
hear you.
know.
Yeah.
Yo, but P, before I actually let you go, man, do you have any final thoughts, words of advice, or any final thoughts, words of wisdom, or advice for the roomies?
Yeah, 100%. Like, guys, don't ignore this stuff. Like, don't just play around with these tools. Like, find somebody who understands what they're doing in this area and follow them. As an example, I do this. You can follow me, or you can, like, if you go to peternieves.com, you can see events that I'm doing, things like that. But you need to stay on top of this stuff because things are changing fast. Look, as of right now, there's been over 100 lawsuits against OpenAI, Microsoft, Mark Zuckerberg, Google, like tons and tons of companies are being sued. The results of those lawsuits are going to impact you. They're going to impact you either by making it so these platforms cost way more because now they have to pay out a lot of money,
Yeah.
or making it so that they have to rebuild their databases or they need to do licensing deals, whatever. but you're using the results of these platforms. So you need to be thinking, okay, if the company got sued, I mean, think about this. The company got sued, as an example, OpenAI got sued for over $1 billion in the United Kingdom, just for the fact that they had scraped all this content and used it to create their model. Well, what's coming out of OpenAI's ChatGPT? Stuff that I'm using, stuff that you're using.
Yeah.
So if there's a lawsuit associated with the content used to create the model, do you think maybe there might be lawsuits coming for the people that are using the results? So you got to be on top of this so you can figure out what's safe to use, what's not, what are the things to implement, what filter software to use, like how do you protect yourself, your company. If you do it now, you're fine. If you don't do it now, you may be so heavily immersed into this stuff that you may run into some really big problems. And so I would say stay on top of this, follow people that know what they're talking about in this area, and enjoy the technology, man. I use it literally almost
Yeah.
every single day.
Me too,
I
man.
use it. It is phenomenal. Like it has made my life so much easier, so much more productive, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Just you got to know. Look, before you go playing with a Rottweiler, you got to make sure the Rottweiler is nice. You got to make sure
Right.
that you know what to do with the Rottweiler. You don't just go tackling a Rottweiler. Like, it's not a good idea. So just know what you're doing.
So roomies, remember, AI is not here to take over or take our places or take over. It's a tool. Learn how to use that tool, and if you don't know how to use the tool, find somebody who does. Follow them. Let them mentor you, and prepare yourself for the future because that's where we're headed. And with that, peace out.